G'day guys and welcome back to Raging Ryno. Alright, it's time for episode 1 of the Book of Boba Fett. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you'll know that I've been looking forward to this for different reasons than probably a lot of other people. I've got my disagreements in regards to him constantly removing his helmet, as you can see in that picture right there. And I really feel like from all the teasers and trailers that we got over especially the last 2 weeks, we've pretty much seen the first episode. So we'll see if I'm right in regards to that. Now, I do usually like to try and sit here and watch it and you guys, I can clip out my genuine reactions to certain things. But unfortunately, they've put in some blocker so that I can't actually record the show behind me and give you my reactions. So anyway, I'll watch through this. I'll see if I'm right about seeing the whole first episode in the trailers, and I'll give my thoughts pretty much as soon as this finishes, this little rant finishes. So I'll see you in just a sec. Okay, so I just finished watching that first episode, and it's definitely the case where if you've watched a lot of the teasers or the trailers, you've actually watched a lot of this episode. There's a lot of similar storytelling in the way that they've done The Mandalorian. So what they're doing is Boba Fett's in a Bacta tank. He's, of course, still healing from his wounds from the Sarlacc pit. And while he's in the Bacta tank, he's having dreams or memories of getting out of the Sarlacc pit, getting raided by the Jawas for his armor, and then getting picked up by the Tusken Raiders. And he pretty much was a slave to the Tusken Raiders this entire episode. But then it cuts back to Fennec waking him up. And this is where we get to see the first continuation from essentially the end of The Mandalorian. So he is receiving gifts from all of these different business owners, other crime lords, I suppose, that are on Tatooine, that now essentially Jabba owns. So people are coming to him, giving him offerings, credits, and that sort of thing. So there is this one guy that rolls up, and of course he works for the mayor of Tatooine, or this part of Tatooine. He actually then asks Boba for an offering to take back to the mayor, and Fennec wants to kill him, but Boba's like no, because he works for the mayor. So Fennec then tells him that the gift that we're going to give you is that you get to leave without being injured or interfered with for essentially the insult. So there's going to be, of course, some dispute there over who is the bigger crime lord. He goes and sees the Twi'leks that, again, we've seen in the trailers, and gets an offering from them. Now, I did find it funny that, of course, he gets his armor and everything put on. He puts his helmet on. Now, he is sitting there and having those conversations with those people, giving him the offerings with his helmet on. He then goes to the club where the Twi'leks own. The club thing didn't feel very Star Warsy at all, other than the characters that are actually in it. And him and Fennec both take their helmets off. Some other Twi'leks come over and offer to take their helmets and shine them up for them. When they bring them back, that's when he's got the bucket full of credits, an offering to him for essentially sort of his protection. And the owner of the establishment essentially says that Boba now owns their establishment. So, of course, come any time or whatever the case may be. When they leave, they have that altercation with the people that you see in the trailers that have got those shields, and we see all of that fight. It was very underwhelming. Of course, he couldn't put his helmet on because it was full of credits, but that rolls away and Jawas and everyone starts stealing all the credits. I don't know what ends up happening to his helmet, because he ends up inheriting 2 of those, I can't remember the name of the species, but it's those pig characters. The ones that they had dueling with those axes in The Mandalorian. There's 2 of those that were very loyal to Bib Fortuna, and he asks if he was to spare their lives, would they be honorable to him and loyal to him? And of course they say yes. So they're the 2 characters that end up saving the day, take him back to the Bacta tank. And of course, it cuts away and goes to a dream. Now, Fennec Shand does go off and chase some of those other mercenaries and catches one of them. Again, a very underwhelming fight. But when he goes back into essentially his dream state, like the Bacta tank is this dream state. It's, again, such a video game plot. It's very similar to The Mandalorian in that way as well. But he He goes back to the Bacta tank, he gets into this dream state, and he starts dreaming from where he left off the other dream. Quite coincidental. Now, I thought the way he got out of the Sarlacc pit was a bit ridiculous. It didn't show enough at all. Honestly, he turns his light on, he sees a stormtrooper inside the stomach, he goes and gets some oxygen from the suit. He punches through it and sets his flamethrower off, and the next scene you see is his fist coming through the sand. So I thought that was really underwhelming too. But it goes on to tell this additional story where this youngling of a Tusken is taking him off to go and dig up these almost coconut things that have got water inside them. He wants them to dig, and there's another prisoner there with them too that Boba's chained up to. And this is the prisoner that can die, of course. So while they're digging for this water, there's this beast that comes out of nowhere. It's got 4 legs and 2 arms. It almost looks like a centaur, but it's like just a beast. Never seen this creature before. It might be something within Star Wars lore that they've just pulled out of something and put it here on Tatooine. I'm not too sure. I'm sure there'll be people in the comments that'll let me know what species it is, unless it's just something that they've made up. So Boba Fett ends up killing this beast, and the youngling goes back to the tribe of Tuskens and tells everyone that Boba's done that, and he gains their respect. Now, another thing that I noticed in this episode is that the Tuskens, they've given them like better clothing. They've got like necklaces that have, you can see who the chief is, and you can see who the chief's wife is. The chief's wife ends up beating up Boba Fett too, in a point where he tries to escape, but he is quite dehydrated, and he hasn't eaten or slept properly for a while, I would be thinking. But this whole episode, I didn't really feel anything for it. It wasn't Flash. It certainly didn't feel like Star Wars. And the dialogue that took place, as little of it as there was not that good. And if you've seen the trailers, you've seen all the dialogue. You've pretty much seen all the scenes. There's a few more scenes that we haven't seen yet from the teasers and trailers that I'm sure that they'll bring out probably in the next episode. He'll probably meet up with the mayor, and that'll be a scene that we've seen. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this episode in the comments below if you watched it. If you didn't watch it, what do you think of my description of it? It was very underwhelming. For a first episode, yeah, I know that they've got to tell the story of Boba getting out of the Sarlacc pit, but they didn't even really do that. They showed some shots of it, didn't really show his strategy in regards to getting out. He just unburies himself. It was a bit ridiculous. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for episode 2. Later, guys.